So,
Did you say 30, sir?
37.
Wrightstown Township, you said Newtown.
Did I say Newtown?
Yeah.
What else did you say? It's
Be real quiet.
It's the senility, you know, it's starting to set in. All right, Wrightstown. I'll move there.
Never admit it.
Well, that's what happens when it says Newtown at the top of the. But that's perfect.
I am Elizabeth Thompson. I have been a supervisor for all of about a month, to the day, I think. Looking forward to working with all of you. Upper Makefield.
Yeah, that's it.
Upper Makefield supervisor.
Jane Magny, Wrightstown supervisor for 30-some years.
Peggy Driscoll, I'm the chair of Newtown Planning, been on Newtown for 19 years now.
So Tom Sino, supervisor, Upper Makefield Township.
Kathleen Pizarro, Chairman, for Mayfield Township Planning Commission for many, many years.
Ron Taylor, Upper Makefield Supervisor for 2 years.
Yvette Taylor, Upper Makefield Supervisor for 5 years, 4 years, whatever it is. 4 or 5.
I gotta do Ben Weldon, also supervisor in Upper Makefield since
Since you were
22.
elected.
22.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. However many years that is.
Ed Merriman, Newtown Township Supervisor, elected a few months ago. So.
Okay, welcome.
Melissa Mark, also Newtown Township, for a month.
I'm Will Ettinger. I'm the solicitor for Upper Makefield Township. I'm with Grimbean and Thatcher, and I've been primary solicitor for about 2 years now, but I've been working with Upper Makefield for about 8.
Sounds good. All right.
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry. That just happens when you're on the out.
Thank you. Lisa Wolf, Senior Planner with the Bucks County Planning Commission, and I'm going to follow Kathleen's lead. It's been quite a few years that I've been there.
And you've been our
Nice to meet everybody.
you've been our planner for quite a number of years also. So. And before that,
Well, the Bucks
Lindbergh.
County Planning Commission, yeah, it's been a number of different relations, but yeah.
we've been doing good with that. So, all right. So I did send out a kind of a contact list. I have there were a couple phone numbers I'm missing, so if I can get those, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. So the first item of business is we need to elect a chair. Does anyone want to do it?
Nominate Chester.
I'll second.
All right, motion second. Any discussion? Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We need to elect a vice chair.
I will nominate Ed Merriman from Newtown Township.
Okay.
I can second.
Yes. We have motion second. Any discussion? Any additional nominations? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. For treasurer, I'd like to nominate Kathleen Pizarro.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion second. Any additional nominations? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, and that's great because it minimizes the amount of bank work we got to do to change the accounts. All right, that's good. I'd like to just authorize, get a motion that we authorize the chair or the treasurer with the approval of the chair or vice chair to pay the bills in between meetings, those times that we don't have monthly meetings. Still want to make sure that our consultants and whoever get paid. So I would entertain a motion to authorize Kathleen to pay those bills.
So moved.
That is Jane. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We need to just confirm our depository, which is currently First National Bank of Newtown. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Kathleen,
Second.
Jane, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We don't have a secretary at the present time, so we're still looking for one. But I will make a recommendation that we move the secretary's salary to $25 an hour, which is a reasonable rate if we ever find one.
So moved.
Kathleen, do we have a second?
Second.
Jane?
Go ahead.
Who seconded it? I'm sorry. That's for you. All right. We have a motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, confirming the meeting dates, they've been advertised for the first Thursday of each month at 7 o'clock here in Wrightstown. We do have proof of publication from the Courier Times, and we have a bill tonight to pay for it. So it's more, so just a motion to confirm those meeting dates. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Kathleen? Do we have a second?
Second.
Dean? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Need to confirm our assessment. So there's a separate piece of paper that was handed out that broke down the assessment for the jointure for this upcoming year. Typically, we appropriate monies, but we don't necessarily spend them. So that, you know, even though we have an annual budget of about $12,000, we don't spend them, and we only call for an assessment when our balance actually runs low enough that we have to pull for it. But for the purposes of at least planning, with the $12,000 annual budget, there's the sign ordinance that is being reviewed. All three townships had agreed to pay their share for a $7,580 charge to the Bucks County Planning Commission to cover the preparation of some of the documents everybody's already received and some of the ongoing work with that project. That project that's a cap on that project. So that's the most that we would spend. And then all the townships previously had authorized, I think, $25,000 for the wireless ordinance. We're down to the last bit of just getting the legals done, and we're almost to the finish line here. But I put $3,000 into the budget just to make sure we cover ourselves in case something pops up. So with that, the assessments are based on square miles of each of the township. 1/3 is based on square miles, 1/3 based on the 2020 population census for each township, and 1/3 based on the assessment in each of the townships. Those assessments are the current townships, are the current assessments from Bucks County, December 31st of 25, so they are current. And if you go down to mid-page toward there's a line, a column that says proposed 2026 current assessment is the breakdown for each of the townships. So this is the big picture of the assessment and the costs. So with that, I'd just like to I'm going to make a motion that we approve the assessment and the distributions for 2026.
Second.
And Tom, any discussion?
Is this the same as it's always been, or is this?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. The last couple of years, we've been doing 12,000, but I'm trying to remember if I'm not even sure that we collected an assessment last year. I don't think we did, because we had enough left over from the previous year. So we have motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we'll wait till the treasurer's report, and then we'll decide whether or not we need to draw down on that assessment. We need to confirm our advertising rag, which is currently the Bucks County Courier Times. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, you bet. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Elizabeth, all right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Just confirming, I don't know that we have to take a vote on this, but just confirming that Upper Mayfield Solicitors are jointure, which is from Bean and Thatcher, so we welcome them on board for 2 years, for the next 2 years. I'd like to confirm the planning consultant, who's currently at the Bucks County Planning Commission. I'd like to entertain a motion to make that appointment.
So moved.
Jane, do we have a second?
Second.
Peggy? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And we need to appoint an auditor to audit the treasury. Typically, the auditor follows the rotation of the solicitor. So it would be the Upper Makefield, one of the Upper Makefield the Upper Makefield auditors would be responsible for doing that. Those are the three auditors. I came off of your website, so I think I want.
That's still accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, it got updated, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and the audit is simple enough, it doesn't need a CPA accounting firm to do it, so,
Is it just one of the individuals?
so, yeah, I'm gonna leave it up to the Upper Mayfield Board to choose somebody.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion that, we leave it up to Upper Mayfield Township to choose one of their auditors offline to do the audit of our treasury. So that's my motion. Do we have a second?
If they ask, can we say it's because you didn't show up to the jointure meeting, you got it.
No.
We will ask somebody.
Wrightstown did it, I think, the last 2 years. I think before that, actually, I think Dick Weaver used to do it from Newtown, because he was the auditor from
Newtown.
in Newtown, yeah.
I don't recall this, but yeah, so that's,
All right, so was
figure
it
that
Ben, that was a second, I think.
yeah,
right?
that, I'm sorry.
Okay, so motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's just go into the regular meeting. We have the minutes of our last meeting, which was December the 4th. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Kathleen? Do we have a second? Who was that, Jane?
Second.
Or Peggy? Any discussion?
You folks who weren't at the previous meeting abstained?
You don't have to. You read them. It doesn't matter, but you don't have
Yeah,
to.
I mean, if you were on a three-person board and you lost two people in an election year, or somebody resigned, you lost a person, you'd be in a position where you couldn't approve minutes because you were down to one person, so you don't have to abstain. That's-
We're talking about the December 4th meeting?
December 4th?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Can do we have a second?
Yes, we did have a second.
Okay, I'm noticed, I was not at that meeting, I'm just seeing now that my name is in there. So with that, just that one, you can pull me out.
All right, with that correction, anything else? All right, I'll call the question, all in favor? Aye, motion carries. And also just for the record, just to note that our January 8th meeting was canceled. Treasurer's report, Kathleen?
Okay, so as of right now, all the checks that were written prior to today have cleared, which leaves us with a balance of $3,738.26. Tonight, Chester and I wrote out the next 5 checks, and which is outstanding of $2,441.39, which leaves us with $12,096. Oh, $1,200, yes, thank you, at .87.
Right. Do a motion to approve the treasurer's report and approve the payment of the bills.
So
Tom? Do we have a second?
Second.
Who second?
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Yes.
Do we want to discuss the Quicken situation?
We'll do that after we approve
Okay,
it, then we
All
can
right.
talk about it. Motion second, no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries, all right.
okay, so when, I took over being treasurer last January, and the person that did it before me had an auto pay directly from the checking account towards the Quicken. I guess we were renting software, right? And consequently, I don't use it. And I talked to Chester, and I'm pretty good at, I taught Excel for 30 years, so I'm pretty good at keeping the records in Excel. So I said to Chester, why do we want to be paying for this if I'm not gonna use it?
So is the question, should we keep a Quicken account if we're not using it?
Yeah.
Oh, I think say absolutely not.
I think we're gonna say that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't keep it.
Someone really has an objection to that.
So then you're making a motion to.
I guess I am right.
Do we have a sec- do we have
I'll
a-
second it.
Right. Ditch Quicken.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go through the records and find out how that all happened.
All right, and yeah, and if it's, is it on auto debit right now, or?
Yeah, it
we'll
came
have
out,
to-
yeah,
we'll
it
get that-
automatically appeared on the checking account.
We'll get that, yes, all right. So a motion second, all in favor to get rid of Quicken?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, now we can talk about assessment. So we have $1,296 to pay left in the balance. So I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the treasurer to send out the assessments to each of the 3 townships. So we can.
For the amount in full of 27,000 change.
For the amount of 20, well, the total assessment is 22,580. So the breakdown would be, Newtown would be 10,633, Upper Makefield 8,550, and Wrightstown 3,397.
So I'd make that motion.
So that was Tom. We have a sec, I made the second, okay? I made the motion, right?
You can make the motion. If that makes you feel better, you can absolutely make.
That's okay, well, Tom, you made the motion. All right, do a second, Pastor. Nobody wants a second now?
I'll second. Current
All right.
If you didn't want my motion.
All right, so we have a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, all right, thanks. Kathleen, you're all set with that?
No, but I'll figure it out.
All right. Send a letter to each manager saying, hey,
Okay, well, is it a formal bill? Oh, I can take, I can do letters. I thought I had a special form I had to fill out.
no.
I'll just send you a check.
All right, old business, solicit.
Well, excuse me, who gets sent
Yes.
to me? Do the checks come to me or you?
I'm sorry.
If we're assessing the townships, who do they
Oh,
send it to?
they should, well, they can either have them come here, or you can have them come, have them,
I'm asking you to make the decision.
send them to Wrightstown,
Okay.
and then we'll get you the checks. That way it's not going to a private house as opposed to,
Yeah.
unless you want them in Upper Makefield. You want them
Well,
in Upper-
that'd be easier, because when I go in the township.
No, let's send them to Upper Makefield. Make sure your manager's in cash.
I can't cash.
Yeah,
Let-
who's it get paid, who's it get payable to?
The jointure.
It's payable to
It's still, yeah, it's
So-
paid the Newtown area joining
Title
policy.
of the account.
Okay, all right.
And then you deposit.
Then you
right?
deposit it in
Yeah,
our account.
but I haven't made any deposits
Yeah.
yet. This-
They'll take your money. They usually take your money.
I
It's
only
the-
withdraw the
Right.
money so far.
All right, and just let Greg know that
I'm doing that right
it's
now.
coming, all right, sounds great. All right, now we'll go to solicitor.
All right, so the first item on the solicitor's report is the wireless communications ordinance, which is mercifully coming to a close. I believe Wrightstown authorized advertisement
Yes, we did.
at its Monday meeting. Upper Make did in its January meeting. Newtown, I'm not sure. I didn't see it on your agendas or minutes. So I just sent Micah an email this afternoon and said, can you just put this on an agenda coming up for authorization to advertise? Once he does, I'm not bringing it back to the jointure for hey, we've all advertised. I'm just going to advertise it for one of your meetings. I asked Micah just to give me a date. I suggested March 25th is probably going to be the advertisement date, because I usually need about a month lead time to get an ad in the paper because it has to run twice in successive weeks. So I'm looking at probably a last municipality advertisement for Newtown of March 25th. If you guys could authorize it for advertisement anytime in the next, I think you have still 2 more meetings in February, right?
One more.
1 more in February, okay. So then just at the next or the 1st in March. But I emailed all this to Micah. You don't have to carry my message to him for. Are there any questions on the wireless ordinance? I think we're clear there.
I hope not.
All right, so we'll move on. The billboard ordinance, this was authorized for advertisement by all 3 municipalities, but we were holding it because until the wireless facilities ordinance was all authorized for advertisement so that we don't have to run an advertisement twice. There's a kind of an upfront cost for any legal notice, so if we can combine 2 notices, that'll save us some money. So I don't need any action from anybody. I'll just wait for the authorization on the wireless and we'll move forward on the same day. Parking core zoning amendment. This one, I'll concede, fell off my radar a little bit because
I think Alan at the last meeting told us to take it off the agenda. That's okay with the current board, then.
This
Do you
is
know what-
specific to you all and
Yeah, do you know what the parking core zoning amendment was a privately proposed zoning ordinance amendment that called for like interior, sort of donut apartment building with interior parking.
What's his
It's
name?
behind the 7-Eleven where,
Worthington?
no,
No, it's down off of Sycamore,
it's
right?
behind the 7-Eleven, yeah.
Okay.
Back there where all those low buildings are, and no, it's BET,
Okay.
Bruce Toll.
So I don't think they're still proposing the same ordinance, but I think in any event, we're to strike it from this list unless we hear otherwise from you guys. All right. And then sign amendments. This is on everybody's planning commission agenda right now. It is a big lift, I think. I don't know if everybody else feels that way, but I do. It's gonna take some time for everybody to go through. I don't know if anybody has a plan or a process for going through it. I'm looking to the Newtown chair for how you guys are going through it.
We haven't reviewed it yet, but, I mean, I think a feeling of some of us on Newtown planning is that we might be opening a can of worms that we do not want to open. We review all the signage that comes in, and we're happy with it like it is, but if we need to review it, we will.
Okay. All right, any other? Now look at the other planning commission
Well,
chair.
you know, we can discuss where I asked them to go through the pictures and the definitions, and then pick out the ones we definitely didn't want, so we could just work with the ones that we wanted.
Yeah.
Like I said, more were being eliminated than what we wanted, so that's why I started there, but we haven't gotten around to it because we had some busy meetings.
Lisa, is it like a rewrite of all the definitions, or are some of them the same?
Actually, there was draft definitions that were prepared, and if you look in the ordinance right now, there's very few sign definitions, so there are significant new definitions added. There were some new definitions provided for signs that you already defined, and that's sort of just also like, you know, this is what you have, and this is what we would recommend. But all that's up for discussion.
Okay.
So what we did, I think, going back to when this was, and I don't want to jump in really with all this, but when we first decided, I think the judge who first decided to look at signs, the idea was just to add illustrations, photos, clear it up. But then I think through discussion, there was a decision to actually go through the whole article, the sign article. So that's sort of why it's so comprehensive.
Okay.
And it's all for discussion.
All right.
So I just, for your information, I think that this is gonna come back to you at some point, where this body is gonna ask you if this expansion of definitions is necessary. Because there's clearly some people sitting here tonight that are questioning whether we want to identify all these sign types. If you tell us that we have to identify them all to protect against them, then we probably would. But if you tell us that we don't need to identify every different type of banner and sign, then we probably wouldn't.
I'll tell you, I can give you the answer right now. It's probably gonna be a little bit of both. It's gonna be, there's some that you absolutely should have definitions for, because I think part of the billboard ordinance, correct me if I'm wrong, Chester, is that we had, billboards were just referred to as like off-premises signs, and that captures a lot of different signs that are not what you would consider your typical billboard. I mean, an off-premises sign could be, eggs ahead on the right. It could also be a huge billboard for a personal injury lawyer, right? And they're not the same, and I don't think we should regulate them the same. So things like that absolutely should be updated. If we're talking about the difference between a banner flag, versus a pennant flag, I don't really think that distinction is one we need to draw. But I can go through with an editing pen and sort of what we don't need to address. I think that would probably narrow everybody's scope of review, so we're not just throwing a huge project on every planning commission. All right. And then the Upper Makefield, we call it the Upper Makefield sponsored ordinance. Did I miss something, Kathleen?
Elderly housing,
That's what I'm getting at. So, in Upper Makefield, we're having a little bit of an issue with, I don't know if actually, do any of the supervisors want to take this?
Why don't you start? And then
Okay.
Then we'll correct you.
Yeah. So, in Upper Makefield, we have two developments that were built under the B17 elderly housing use. And basically that's kind of your typical age-restricted community. It's going to have a community association or a homeowners association, common facilities. They're also built in a fair amount of density. They're with tight lot lines. And in these developments, it's common for the builder to have built up to the lot line. So, up to the setback line. So when you do that, you leave yourself with no room to do anything from a patio, a little walkway. And what we're having is residents who maybe when these developments were constructed, 25, 30 years ago, whole house generators weren't something that people were installing. Now they are. And now if you're built up to the setback line and now you're putting an equipment pad and a generator or an air conditioner on that equipment pad, you're now building in the setback. So we're kind of faced with this problem of sending every single one of these to the zoning hearing board for a side yard variance. And I think it's become a burden on the residents who are in these subdivisions. And the idea was we don't necessarily want to throw out the entire regulation and say that generators shouldn't count as structures or that they shouldn't count in the setback, but we have this very narrow problem in these B17 subdivisions, and that's what we're trying to address, is to just allow for the placement of generators in the side yard setbacks, subject to the HOA approval, because every one of these is going to have an HOA by definition because they have community property. And so I'm trying to basically solve a problem with a scalpel rather than a meat cleaver if we can.
So you're essentially saying that these aren't pre-built properties and not newly built properties?
These are pre-built. I mean, so for an elderly subdivision, and I say that, it's elderly housing subdivision, that's the use.
That's how you can differentiate.
Correct. And that's how I did, because I didn't want to apply it to the B1 single family to just say every single family or every residential use. We just took the most narrow definition of the housing where this issue is arising.
What was the distinction you just made there, Jake?
Pre-built, something that's already there, as opposed to new building.
Gotcha.
Yes, at least the two B17 uses we have are pre-built, they're built out. And the other justification we have is we don't have a stable electrical grid, unfortunately, so people so we hear, are being taken out of traditions by their families when there's an extensive outage. If they're like on oxygen and stuff, they can't get generators put in. And it's kind of like a conundrum that we're in, that we don't really want to be involved in.
Those are all pre-built, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
This would not apply to new building.
Unless it's a new B-17
Yeah.
subdivision.
Oh, you'd want it in that too.
Well, it's just for the B-17 use, so if a development came in under the B-17 use, they could theoretically take advantage of the same. Now, I will tell you, you should caution anybody who comes in with that development and say, don't build to the setback lines, because there is an element of this that is, if the development hadn't been built to the setback lines, we wouldn't be dealing with this.
But to her question, if it's a new development and it's going through the development process, and the developer wanted to include generators, they would have to comply with the existing law.
We could, it's not written that way, it's just written as B-17 has this exception
But that
to
could
side yard
easily-
setbacks.
So the way it's written, it allows for new construction to put a generator right on the property line.
Not right on the property line, as close as practical to the building, so.
So that's a fair.
But, yeah, and is that what you want? I mean, do you want the new developments to have a setback so that you can include that or not? That's all I'm asking.
Let me ask a question. Does Upper Makefield have any more R2? This is gonna apply to R2, so.
Just B-17.
So it only applies to developments that have, for us, in a practical sense, forget about zoning. Neighbors have gas, natural gas. There's only two.
Well, and the elderly age restricted.
Right, but I mean,
piece.
if it was elderly, age restricted, and it was a condo development, you wouldn't be able to put them in because you wouldn't have gas.
Right.
So practically speaking, you need to have natural gas.
Or propane?
Well,
Okay.
if it's a condo development, you're not gonna be able to put propane tanks in.
Well, unless you can have community propane in a condo or planned community, you can. But
That would be a very bad thing.
a lot of new ones are built that way.
Okay,
But-
then you know better.
Yeah, but this in particular, don't think of like zoning district, think of use. And I don't think we've gotten to the bottom of whether anyone else actually has
I thought
B-17.
you said there was a third.
Yeah, I think there's age restricted housing in Newtown, but I don't know that they were developed under the B-17. That's one of the questions I asked Micah
That
was,
would be Chandler Hall, and it's been there a long time, I'm not positive.
yeah,
I don't know that.
I don't think that's, I used to live in Newtown, I don't think Chandler Hall is elderly subdivision, because they're more like townhomes with, but
This is a.
What's a villa?
Over, it's not.
Well, it's just.
that was actually the one I saw that's age restricted that I thought might have been. But I asked Micah, I left a message with your zoning officer this week, and I asked Micah in an email if he could tell me for sure that there are some or not, but I haven't heard back.
Yeah, I can't recall right off the top of my head, but we also have Chandler Hall, when they build across the street, that's, Total Care.
Okay, I think it's not gonna be, my guess is that's gonna be like a personal care facility, but I don't, without seeing the full list of uses in front of me, I can't make that call off the top of my head.
Are in Upper Makefield, are they individual houses, like, or multi-unit houses that are having this issue?
Some of both, I think.
Yeah, they're mixed, so there's some singles and then there's some townhouses.
And I am at a loss to solve this problem without sending everybody to the zoning hearing board, which we can do, it's just kind of getting to the point where people do need the generators or they're gonna be taken out of these houses,
So if you have like 4 units together in the same building, you could have like 4 generators all stacked up next to each other for each one, right?
First of all, I don't think that we have any, well, correct me if I don't think there's any situation where there's 4. I think it's 2 in the same structure at most.
Yeah, they're just side by side,
Okay.
duplex.
So some of them are putting them in the back.
No, that's not true. So-
There's some 3, I think.
Some that have three.
So Traditions and Enclave have multiple units in a building. So they're not just end units, there's middle units as well.
Oh yeah, Enclave has middle.
But I think the middle units under the current condition can put generators out the back. This doesn't
So the
change
question
that
was
condition.
were there 2 units? So I'm saying there's more than 2 units in a building.
Right, right. But this is talking about side yard setbacks. We're only really talking about N units and singles, basically, that have the problem, right? Am I understand that right? Yeah.
Yeah, there are some properties that can make it work under existing zoning. They can put there's either a bump out on the house, they can put a generator there, there's a spot in the rear yard, but you also get to the spot where you need to get it close to the electrical panel, or you're trenching a line around your house to get to your electrical panel. So there's an element of a convenient placement as well as a zoning legal placement. And these are all the problems that we're trying to fix as narrowly as we can.
I think the other issue we've encountered is that people's air conditioners are sitting in the setback today anyway. So that's just a nonconformity that this would fix as well.
I guess I still don't see the reasoning for allowing it in new building.
You don't have to, it's gonna come through you and you can make that recommendation.
So that would be a fine recommendation. I think we're trying to fix the existing problem, not necessarily perpetuate it.
Because, you know, if Newtown and Wrightstown ended up with some of this, we'd be in the same situation. We'd have to allow it and
Right.
allow that kind of setback, so.
Yeah, is there any reason we cannot?
No, I mean, you could just say existing as of the date of adoption of this ordinance,
Right.
Can we do that in this meeting? Can we?
authorized subject to that change.
Yeah.
So that's, the question is gonna be, does the joint zoning council want to have this ordinance sent out to the planning commission members, the respective planning commissions? And if the zoning council wants that motion to be made subject to the revision that this apply only to existing construction, we can do that. So that, because I don't think anybody here is voicing any strong objection to that concept, so.
No, the only question I had was if Newtown, if we could find an answer on that, but I don't wanna wait a month to get that answer,
No, earlier this week, I left the zoning officer a message. I didn't hear back, but I left Micah an email this afternoon, but I don't expect him to know off the top of his head either. You're gonna have to pull record plans, and that's not.
So, and in Ricetown, all the R2 is undeveloped, so there is no B17 use there, but it's all undeveloped, so it's potentially developable.
so then the only thing, if we make a motion to, set a date on this, the only potential issue there would be if there is a B17 use in Newtown, right? Newtown Township.
There is a
Apply.
B17 use.
There is, we're sure of that?
Yes.
Okay, that we would essentially be applying this, that
It would apply to them
it
as
would
well.
apply to you all as well.
So, I mean, and we can send out the ordinance and then we can still find out. I mean, it doesn't get adopted just because we sent it out to the planning commission, so, you know, whenever I hear back, if you guys don't want it, then you'll let us know.
And I doubt Upper Midfield and Westtown are gonna reject it based on you saying, reject that change based on you all saying you don't want it.
Just because I'm totally new to this whole process.
Yeah.
What happens then?
So there are, so the ordinances.
7 years from now.
In the jointure, so I will send it out to this ordinance out to the planning commissions of each municipality. And I'll say, please review, and then they will provide their recommendations, and their recommendations will then be forwarded to the respective boards of supervisors. The boards of supervisors will look at it and say, we recommend adoption as well, or we adopt the recommendation of our planning commission. And then I take them all together, I bring them back here, we try to reconcile the changes as best we can. You know, if one group points out one thing they like, and hopefully we come here with a clean draft. That's the idea, is, you know, everybody comes together with a clean draft, and then I send it back out to all the planning commissions. If there were any changes whatsoever, we do that again, and hopefully we do it once clean.
Right, but
That's the idea.
can Newtown have a different set of rules than the other two?
Not in the jointure, not in the joint zoning ordinance. Any other part of your ordinance, yes. But just for the zoning ordinance, no. Now, if you told me there was some particular issue that you wanted to address, I could look at it and maybe try to find a creative way to say it in a way that's other than just in Newtown.
So like if R1B17 happened to be right behind high power lines, we could say you can't have generators underneath high power lines, and that would be the exception that would fit.
Would help Newtown address a theoretical problem that you would have. So
Got it. Okay.
if you let me know that there's a specific issue that you want to address, I would be happy
Other
to
than
do so.
just being in Newtown.
Correct. Yes. I don't want to write an ordinance that says this ordinance applies here, but not here.
Noted.
So,
Thank you.
but I'd be happy to take a look, whatever you have.
So we'd be entertaining a motion to modify the ordinance to allow it in existing developments only, is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's
So
right.
Do we have a motion to that,
I will make that motion.
Elizabeth? Do we have a second?
Second.
Who was that? Any discussion? Right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, it's gonna go back out to everybody
With that change.
with that change.
All right. And that concludes the solicitor's report.
Really good.
So, just to ask here, we have this also under new business.
We just moved it up, I guess.
Okay.
Sorry,
We moved it up. Yeah, we're all done.
Okay.
I had it on my solicitor's report. I
I
should have
wanted-
checked.
Well, I think we have some folks who are probably planning to,
Speak for.
yes, so I don't know if they want to stay or not, based on that. How do you want to?
Yeah, so if anyone's here, we basically passed that ordinance back off to the, jointure members to review at the individual planning commissions. So we recommended moving the ordinance back to the planning commissions with just, to apply to existing developments.
Are you accepting comments or?
Well, generally, we don't at this point, but if you guys were here for that specific thing, what was your?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Ron Smollow. I'm a resident in Upper Makefield Township. I live in the Traditions Development, which is a B17 use, as I understand that right now. Thanks, by the way, for giving us the opportunity to be here. Our Homeowners Association president is also here, Tom Sikora, and a resident, Tidings, are here. They confronted this issue back in May. So they've been waiting since May of last year to get a generator without having to go to the zoning board. I'm here to, first of all, appreciate the fact that you've adopted, or you're proposing to adopt this ordinance, so I think that's great. I do want to stress to, especially to the other towns, to Newtown and Wrightstown, this is somewhat of an urgent issue for our community. We are a senior community by definition, and the average age is probably mid-70s. And so it's a healthy community, but a number of people who live in our community have health issues. And they cannot live in our community with health issues without electricity. We do have problems with electricity. Pico is not the greatest. We lose power in the summertime from thunderstorms, and you lose it in the wintertime from ice and snow. We've been lucky so far this year. But health is a critical issue. Generators are necessary for people who have health issues. You can't even get a car out of the garage if you don't have electricity. If you're dependent upon keeping prescriptions and drugs at a certain temperature, if you have 2 or 3 days without electricity, you can't keep your drugs in the refrigerator, they're going to lose their potency, things like that. We recently had a case with the zoning hearing board. A family member was on required oxygen 24/7. Based on the weather reports, they took living space somewhere else to make sure that they were going to be safe because of the likelihood of a bad storm and a loss of power. So it's really urgent for our community that we have the ability to have generators. There are, so we're asking some questions, there are about 150 single homes, of the homes in our community that have the issue, where they only have a 5-foot side yard. Quite frankly, up until recently, people were able to get permits in the township, there was some change in the interpretation of the ordinance. And we don't agree with that, but that's the way it is right now. And so until recently, we were able to get these permits, and now suddenly, as of last May, there's been a change in the interpretation, and people can't get permits without going to the zoning board. So that raises another question. It's expensive to go to the zoning board, and it's time consuming. And I think the Green family who just went there and got relief from the zoning board, I think it took them 5 or 6 weeks to get a variance in the middle of the winter. So I just wanted to stress, as a resident, as a member of the community, that it's urgent that we have the ability to have generators. Now, there are about 150 of these single-detached homes that are involved. It's probably about 250, 275 residents who potentially are impacted here. So I just want to thank you for, considering the new ordinance. I hope that our town will come up with some creative way of dealing with the interim, because my understanding, this is going to have to go through a planning commission review. It might bounce back and forth once or twice or 3 times for the planning commission supervisors come back here. And I just want to stress again how important it is that this be approved urgently. There is a doctrine, I remember, something called the pending ordinance doctrine in the zoning law that allowed townships to apply a pending ordinance to certain zoning applications. Of course, they were used to deny zoning applications when the ordinance was pending. But maybe our township can consider applying the pending ordinance doctrine to applications that come in and approve them because there's a pending ordinance. I hope our solicitor would think about that and maybe advise our board accordingly. Anyway, thank you, and that's all I have to say. I don't know if my other neighbors.
No, I was gonna say something, but I think everybody explained it, and everybody knows the issues, and sometimes
So just, and again, from a process point of view, it's at least 45 days for an ordinance to go to the planning commission, to get reviewed and go to the board of supervisors for review, okay? And that's assuming that there's no changes in the wording in the ordinance. And then once we get through that process, then there's the advertising process. So in the best of cases, you're talking probably 90 days to see an ordinance come into effect. But again, we just finished up a 6-year ordinance.
This one's not as complicated
Not
as that, I will say.
complicated, but it still can take some time. And we've had a lot of other ordinances that will take months and years to get done. So this should be a simple change, but again, my recommendation is you attend the planning commission meetings in the different townships and the board of supervisors meetings, and provide your comment there. Because we really need, each individual township needs to approve the concept for it to move forward.
That's why I hope maybe there's some way in the interim, especially if this takes a considerable time. It's expensive to go to the zoning board.
That's out of our hands here, so.
That's not a question.
That's not a.
I understand, but it's expensive and time consuming.
You don't want me to give them authority to go ahead and? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Lisa.
Okay, yeah, talking about signs, actually, normally my colleague Dave Zip is here with me, and he's actually the planner that's working on the sign regulations. He was gonna attend virtually, but I don't see him, so maybe he's having some trouble.
I see him logged in. I don't know whether he's on the meeting or not.
Well, anyway, in your, without Dave, it's fine.
I'm here.
Are you here? Okay. And I'll let you take over if there's specific questions, but just to sort of bring everybody up to speed, we started looking at the sign regulations. I think that the jointure decided you wanted to update 2 sections or 2 articles in the zoning ordinance. It's the definitions and the signs. So we started with the signs. And I believe we started working on that in September. And basically, what we understood based on discussions and the options that the committee had discussed last year, I believe, we're looking at like an update to the whole article. But of course, that's dependent on what, what you want to change. But we were just providing basically a recommendation to update the whole article based on adding definitions, updating definitions, as well as regulating signs by not so much use, but more by zoning district, by like character of area. And I can let Dave, explain more of that. But I guess where we ended up the last few times we discussed it, we were asked to put together 2 charts, basically. We had proposed signs, we had definitions, drafted definitions, but then put together a chart that lists each of the signs that we have definitions for, and room for each planning commission to sort of go through the signs and decide, is this like this type of sign do we want to see in our community? Does it fit in our community? And if so, where? And then the other chart, I believe, was really grouping districts that were very similar, like more rural districts, districts that are closer to more urbanized, like the borough, and then coming up with what signs would be appropriate in those different areas, and then also thinking about like size of signs, maximum size. So that's what the 2 different charts were for. And this is all subject to discussion and changes. Dave and I, when we looked at the different signs and districts, we sort of tried to think about what seemed appropriate based on the character of each district. And also you can further regulate it by use from there, but it was just sort of suggestions and something to begin discussion with. I guess we had asked the planning commissions, I had sent the definitions and the charts out to the managers. I don't remember who else might have gotten it. That was, I think, in December, the end of December.
I know that the Ricetown Planning Commission has seen it. Newtown hasn't?
Not yet, no.
Well, you've seen the.
We've seen it, we haven't reviewed it yet at a meeting.
Yeah. And I assumed that Upper Makefield's got it.
We sort of saying, we looked at it, but we didn't actively review it.
So right now, we're in, I guess, it's like we're waiting for each of the 3 planning commissions to weigh in on this.
Okay.
So we should be in pretty good shape.
Dave, do you have anything to add?
No, I have started on the general regulations which would apply to all the signs that you want to permit, but I'm waiting to determine which ones you want to permit, and I'll work on general regulations for those.
Okay, it's gonna be a while before you're gonna have anything, I think, but.
If there's any, if there are any questions, please feel free to contact us. Dave is really the one who knows signs the best, but, we're happy to try to answer questions, or if planning commissions need guidance, we're happy to try to help in any way.
Sounds good. Any questions? Well, thank you, guys. The new business, we sent out the history and procedural items on the jointures. I hope everyone's had an opportunity to look at it or look at it at their leisure. Thank you for Kathleen for doing some editorial work for us on this. So looks good.
Can I say something? There's a few errors in there still.
Oh, well.
I sent him a list, but he already published it. It's just like comments, nothing big.
This must be the 10th time we're writing this, so eventually we'll get all the mistakes out of it.
Oh, I missed him too. Every time you read this.
Privilege of the floor, anything from what I'm talking about?
We have one thing, on February 10th, it's from 5 to 7, yes? The Joint Toll Bridge Commission is having a public scoping meeting about the bridge in Washington Crossing. We're told this is going to be in the style of like an open house where you kind of and correct me if I'm wrong, you go to different tables and stations, learn about different aspects of the project, and then you can fill out a little card with your feedback. To the extent that you are available or interested in attending, since it will impact you guys in different ways too, we would appreciate it. We will be there. So.
It's at the church. It's at the church.
Oh yes, it's at the Crossing Community Church.
On 532.
5:32.
And what time?
5 to 7 on Tuesday the 10th.
Good.
Like a science fair.
Yeah,
that's
like
what
a
sounds like.
science fair, yes.
We did-
Except for bridge.
We did formally ask them to do a presentation, so we all had a shared understanding of what they were proposing. They rejected that. Ask.
Can I say something?
Sure.
The patch had a very short video of it. Did everybody see that? Anybody see that? And it was like, it almost looked like it was taken with a drone, and it showed how close the cars are coming from above. It was interesting. It's very short. If you want to search it, it was on the patch.
Was it the Bridges promotional video?
Yeah.
They released?
I think.
Yeah.
Just a couple housekeeping items. I sent out an email today with notification that the latest set of amendments to our zoning ordinance is now in place. There'll be hard copies coming as soon as we get them. And we have the part of the contract is General Code will provide us hard copies, and then we'll get them distributed back out to the townships. So that'll be done. And the other two things that I picked up on is there's a House bill that's House Bill 2155, which has been introduced, that basically is trying to take away municipalities' abilities to determine how much parking is needed for different types of developments. So I don't know if that's going to get legs in the House or not. And I also noticed we got something from PSATS today that kind of summarized some of the remarks of the governor regarding his upcoming priorities. And one of the things that he's pushing is that they need to come up with better ways of providing for more housing, more affordable housing, and kind of like, if you read between the lines, taking a lot of this out of our hands and putting it somewhere else. So a little disturbing that these things are being discussed. But we'll have at the Picado meeting coming up, there's going to be a presentation on municipal sovereignty, so that's probably going to be discussed by or brought up a couple times. Something that we want to make sure that the legislature doesn't go and mess us up. Anything else? Any last? Yes.
I was just gonna add one thing minor, if everybody's done. On the contact list, I don't know if everyone is aware, but our executive director, Evan Stone, retired as of Monday, actually, February.
I already got them crossed off.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everybody else know, I know you're aware, Esther, so right now, I know they're interviewing, but I don't believe, the decisions have been made yet.
All right. So tentatively, our next meeting is going to be March the 5th, but at this point, I don't see any agenda items. Probably take a while before we hear anything back on the Upper Mayfield. Or do we?
Well, I'm gonna make the revision, tonight or tomorrow and send out to all the planning commissions. I don't know if we'll get to every single one. I mean, we can wait to cancel it. That's the only option.
Well, we will wait.
Yeah.
We will wait to cancel. The other thing we could do is we could authorize you to advertise the ordinance if there's a consensus from the three townships on the revised ordinance.
The B-17.
Yeah, the B-17.
That's fine. That's fine.
That way, if all three townships pass on your revisions, then you can move directly to advertising.
So what's the motion if there are no changes to the circulated draft?
Correct.
We would authorize advertising.
So Tom made that motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'm sure I can do that one more time for me. I'm sure
If
I'm
there are
in
no
favor
changes, if there are no changes, we don't need to come back and go back out
to the,
for authorization to advertise.
Well, it's gonna come.
from
to you
the planning
first,
commission, you're
but then
saying.
it's
We
not
get,
gonna come
they all look at it and they,
Yeah, if we get through both sides with
Okay.
no changes,
so we are what you're doing right now, what we're doing right now is authorizing that it gets advertised to go back out to the boards of supervisors or?
No, it should go from the planning commissions to the board of
To the board.
supervisors.
Got it, okay.
All
I
the
thought it
time,
was coming
that
back
should be
here.
the process
Got it.
all the time.
Got
So
it.
if the planning commission approves it, it should always go to the board of supervisors because you need to authorize it for adjournment. So if all three townships say, hey, the revised ordinance is good, then we're giving, Will the authorization now to go ahead and move forward with
So
that.
that we don't have to necessarily meet to wait, okay, correct.
So when
Thank
did you say you thought you would have that ready?
I mean, I know they want it done, yesterday, so I will do it tomorrow.
The reason I asked this is because our planning commission for February meeting has been canceled, and it was just done today, so that could be changed if necessary.
I leave that to your discretion, but I'll get it out, tomorrow morning.
Okay.
It's a simple change, I'll turn it out as fast as I can.
I think that certainly it would be appreciated. It's hard it's a shame that it got canceled and we'd be calling them back for this one thing that affects Upper Brookfield.
If we can do it, if we have a quorum and so on,
Yeah.
I think that we should. Plus, we should be talking about sign ordinances too, so.
Should be talking about the sign ordinance. There's no
I know.
reason to cancel
Both of them. I
planning
know.
commission meeting. Plenty of
I know.
things to. All right, so we have a motion and second to authorize this ordinance for advertisement.
Could we advertise with the others on the 25th? Is that?
I mean, if we can get them all together, all in line together, we can kill three birds with one stone. Yeah,
You have to do 45-day review, don't you?
30 days with the planning commissions.
30 days to the planning commission.
So
Okay.
I think we can make it work. I mean, I can also send it out formally to the planning commissions at the same time for a 30-day review.
And the Bucks County Planning.
And the
Commission.
Bucks, right.
Yep, let's do that.
Okay.
That way we cover all our bases, so. All right, so we have a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Good. So then we may not need to meet.
We may not need to meet now in March, right?
All right. All right, anything else, guys? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Very
Do we have a
enthusiastic.
second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Have a great evening.
Tone that down.
Day after yours.